JP Alexander for the Rabid Dogs Unleashed, and it is Saturday, November 6th, 2021, in the evening. And this video, I want to talk about a few things that have happened in the news lately. Not major news events, just has to do with, I guess, sexual assault, alleged sexual assault. I just want to comment on them. First one was brought up by Lana Wood. If anybody knows who Lana Wood is, I didn't really know who she was. I think I've heard of her name, but I never. She was the sister of Natalie Wood. Natalie Wood, beautiful woman, great actress, died in 1981 at the age of 42, 43, so around that. And Lana Wood's her younger sister, who was an actress too. I didn't know that. She was in Peyton Place, which probably went off the air the same time I was born. I guess I've heard of this show, but I never watched even an episode of it. I know Ryan O'Neal was in it, I think. But Lana Wood, I guess that's her claim to fame was that show. She was the younger sister of Natalie Wood. It says Lana Wood was born. Lana Wood was born 1945, I guess. Lana Wood. Lana Wood? Yeah. She was Lana Wood was born 1946. Okay. All right. And March 1946, and her sister was born 1938, July 1938. Lana Wood's original name was Svetlana Gurdin, and she's had 6 husbands. Sounds like a piece of work. This one, okay, Lana Wood. Anyway, she just released a book called, what was it called? The book was called her memoir. Okay, the book's name is what is the book's name? The Babam who taught many doors are famous, and that seemed like a long time past. What was the name of the book? Little Sister. Of course, she's got to milk her dead sister's name for all it's worth. That's what this seems like to me. Pretty fucking sick that 40 years after the fact, that after, her sister died tragically, we got to have a book from her called Little Sister. Why don't you release it then? Because you were trying to still milk a career out of yourself, and you realize that, Anyway, that goes to show how much I respect this woman right here. So she basically says that Kurt Douglas raped her, sexually assaulted. Not only was sexually assaulted as a teen by Kurt Douglas, her sister writes in memoir. Okay. He just died, what is it, recently, last year, So I guess she waited till he's dead so he can't sue, because it's probably bullshit. Okay, anyway, for decades it has been one of Hollywood's darkest rumors. I never heard of it. Can anybody else say it's been? Can anybody who's really old say, "Oh yeah, I knew exactly, who did it," and can somebody else substantiate this, or is it just her trying to make money off a book and scandalous activities? Decades of a woman sexually assaulted by a top movie star more than twice her age. She was 16. So if you're 33, you're more than twice her age. So let's not act like it was just really way old guy. He was probably in his 30s at the time. I actually heard Douglas was 38 at the time, 39, something like that. Which I'm not saying, he has the right to put his hand on a 16-year-old. But let's not act like, more than twice her age. Yeah, she's fucking 5. If you're 11, you're more than twice her age. Come on. Give me a break. Why even say that? Okay, she met with him at a hotel in Los Angeles as a teenager. Why? Why would, as a teenager, I guess at the time, 1955, she would have been It says here in the summer of 1955. She would have been almost 17. She would have been 16, probably almost 17. Uh, and a memoir coming out next week, of course, Wood's younger sister, identified as long suspected assailant, Kurt Douglas. Wow. Wow, isn't it? Wow, it's just convenient. He's dead, right? Remember, Natalie looked especially beautiful when Mom and I dropped her off the night at the Chateau Marmont entrance. Dropped her off. Why would the fuck would you and your mother drop her off? Why would your mother, some adult, not go in there with her? She's going to meet a grown ass man in his hotel room. Why wouldn't the mother go in there? I mean, what? Okay, first of all, you're basically saying your mother's a piece of shit mother. Really, that's what you're saying. What mother would let her daughter, her teenage daughter, even though she was 18, I expect the mother still to go in there with her. She's underage, 16, and the mother just dropped her off. Sounds fishy to me, and also fucking extremely bad parenting. Horrendously bad parenting, okay? Just drop her off. Go in there and we'll wait out here in the parking lot of the Chateau Marmont. Happened in the summer of 1955, around the time Natalie was filming The Searchers. Okay. The meeting had been arranged by her mother, Maria Zakharenko. I think they were Russian. Wood is a fake name, yeah. Who thought that many doors might be drawn open for her with just a nod of his famous handsome head on her behalf, according to Lana. Well, yeah, if he said, hey, Skull's cool. It doesn't say where he met her, though. Like if he met her somewhere. It doesn't say where he met her. It's just that I guess he asked for her to come to his hotel room. Come alone. Like, wouldn't you be like, no, my daughter's not coming alone? I mean, but who even knows he said that? All we know is that she went, I had got to read the book, but I don't want to buy the book because it would mean I'm giving money to this woman's maybe bullshit. It seems like a long time passed before Natalie got back in the car and woke me up with her slammed the door shut, she writes. This girl was 8 at the time. Could her memory be a little fuzzy? Maybe. 8? How much shit do you remember when you're 8 about, your brother or your sister walking in the car and shutting the door? At that time, like they could have been out somewhere. I don't remember a lot of it. She looked awful, very upset, disheveled. And she and her mom started urgently whispering to each other. I couldn't really hear them or make out what they were saying. Someone bad had apparently happened. You know this, why? Because you just were 8 years old and your intuition is just that good at 8 years old. I was apparently too young to be told about it. You're too young to remember it, too. According to Lana, Natalie did not discuss with her what happened until both were adults, and Natalie, after describing being brought into Douglas's suite, told her sister, and he hurt me, Lana. It was like an out-of-body experience. I was terrified. I was confused, Lana remembers her saying. Lana, now 75 and about 8 when the alleged incident occurred, remembers her sister and her mother agreeing it would ruin Natalie's career to publicly accuse him. Suck it up was the mother's advice. Yeah, the mother's a great mother, apparently letting her go in there, maybe, hey, if Kurt wants to fuck you, let him fuck you. That's going to help your, career. We just put immigrants from Russia. Just doesn't sound good. When I put it like that, that sounds really bad. But I'm just voicing in words what probably happened. Authorities initially ruled the death an accident. What? Suck it up. Much of which focused on Elliott's death in 1981 when a body was found in Catalina Island, California. Oh, Lana Wood accuses Robert Wagner of the person responsible for her death. There was a time a couple of years ago I was really obsessed with this case for a little while, and I got every video I could, and I watched, and I went over it, and seems to me she got drunk one night with her husband, and her husband was on a boat, so was Christopher Walken, and so was the captain. She got drunk one night, Christopher Walken and her Walken ended up spending the night on the island. Don't know what happened then. like because she got mad at her. And the next night they're drinking and all arguing, getting drunk, and they're all yelling. And I guess everybody went to bed except her. She got on a boat, and then they found her body the next day. This is what I think happened. I think she went on a boat. She's like, "Fuck this! I'm going to the island because I spent last night on an island, had a good fucking time away from my husband. Our marriage is ending. Fuck this shit. I'm going to the island." She jumped in the boat. She's drunk. She couldn't swim well. She got maybe 100 feet from there. She fell in the water. Boom. Or she fell in the water and slipped by the boat, and she drowned. That's what I think happened. That's it. Lana Wood, of course, needs to keep the story going to suck up some more money, of course, because her sixth husband probably isn't giving her much money, and I don't. Her sixth husband doesn't even have a Wikipedia page. Who is this guy? Anyway, in her book, she recalls promising her sister not to discuss the assault by Douglas, but rumors. Well, you're discussing it now. Don't discuss it, but when I die, you can make money off of it. Rumors were so prevalent that when he died in 2020 at the age of 103, Natalie was named trended along with his on Twitter. Lana Wood, whose own acting credits include The Searchers and Future, believes I've heard of these movies, but I've never seen this woman. But enough has changed since the conversation with Natalie that she can now tell the whole story because there's money to be had. With no one still around to protect, I'm sure she'll forgive me for finally breaking that promise she wrote. You're ruining a man's legacy here, but I guess if it sells books and makes you money, it's okay. Douglas's son, Dr. Michael Douglas, said in a statement issued by his publicist, "May they both rest in peace." What he's saying is, I'm not even going to pay any credence to this bullshit. Kurt Douglas, in the late 30s at the time of the assault, was known for such films as Spartacus, The Bad and the Beautiful, and Gunfight at the OK Corral. He was one of the first leading actors to form his own production company. Wow. But I wanted to say he received the Presidential Medal of Honor in 1981. Legion of Honor for France, given an honorary bound. Douglas announced that he was a womanizer, unfaithful husband, who wasn't back then, and a major actor. What major actor in the 1950s wasn't? Only a handful. Less than a year before the Me Too movement erupted, the actor and dancer said of a friend, "You could not sit beside him without his hand crawling up your leg." Okay. I mean, he must have did it then. Okay. In his memoir, The Ragman's Son, published in 1988, Douglas writes briefly about Natalie Wood. He remembers driving home one night and stopping at a red light. The door of the car in front of him opened, and a pretty little girl wearing a suede jacket hopped out and went up to him. "Oh, Mr. Douglas, would you please sign my jacket?" he remembers her saying. As I obliged, the woman who was driving got out and introduced her. "This is my daughter. She's in movies too. Her name is Natalie Wood. That was my first time I met Natalie. I saw her many times afterwards before she died in that crude accident." That's really all he said about her. I guess, that's pretty much it. Of course, he's not going to say, "Oh, she went to my room. I fucked her." Information is support of anybody in the UK. Okay. All right. Okay. So that's that. What do I think happened? Could I see it happening? I don't. If it did, it's bad parenting, and the mother should be fucking, the mother's dead, but horrendous parenting right there. Do I think it happened? I don't know. Why bring it up? I'm more upset at the fact that it's being brought up now. Just, you kept it. Do you have to bring it up now? I mean, the guy died and you're bringing it up. It's like, it reeks of just trying to get money off of a book and, tarnishing a man's name. I mean, I'm not saying it shouldn't have came out maybe 70 years ago. That would have been a probably better time for it to have come out. Now it's just going to tarnish a man's career, but it's going to sell you books. So I guess maybe that's what I'm questioning. Is that the motive here? That's all I got to say about that case. The next one is a man by the name of Dave Portnoy, if anybody's heard of him. He's the leader of this online. I'm not sure if it's a sport. I don't know sure what it is. It's Barstool Sports. I'm not sure if it's a web, if it's a podcast or what. I just know he does pizza reviews, and I guess pizza and sports have to do with each other, right? And he does pizza where he goes to a place and he says, "Oh, one bite." Everybody knows the rules, but he really takes more than one bite. He makes up the own rules as he goes along, and he rates it on a scale of 0 to 10. He's given something a 0.0. I don't think he's ever given anything a 10.0, the highest score. I think what hers is a 9.6. Anyway, he goes around the United States. A lot of times, just in New York, I gotta say, he's there a lot because that's got great pizza. I'm from New York, and I attest. So anyway, yeah, he's done a lot of those videos. I don't know much about him other than those videos. I don't know much about his sports. I guess they talk about sports. I don't know much about that. I'm not. I mean, I watch sports. So I'm into it a little bit. I used to be into it more when I was a kid, but these days I'm not that much into sports where I actually watch a lot of these talking heads speaking of sports. I kind of find it funny sometimes when they're arguing about sports like it's politics, like it's something so important. But I guess this guy, Dave Portnoy, created this, and he's now worth a lot of money. He's worth millions of dollars. So he's famous now. And I guess he's had this for a couple of years. And I guess he just turned 44. And these accusations when he was 43. And he owns a house in New England, Nantucket Island. He's from the Boston area originally. And I guess he got money and he bought a estate or something. I don't know how much, big or whatever. And I guess he's single. He's been single. I think he's with somebody now, but he's been single. He was single for 5 years in between there. And recently he's with somebody. And I guess he went hog wild during those years and fucked a lot of girls. More power to him. I guess if he could do it, why not, right? So anyway, these two girls, well, first it started with this woman for 8 months has been trying to write a story about him, trying to get information, and she says, "Who's got some information about Dave Portnoy?" And these, I guess, a few women, two that he talks about in this apology, not apology, but just trying to explain what happened. He on his Twitter, he made a video of him explaining what happened. These two girls said he got violent with them when they had sex at his house, and he's into rough sex. Now, one said she was suicidal after that. And I've had girls who had sex with me who probably were suicidal after that. Yeah, they probably were like, "Oh shit, I got to get my act together." But they knew they were drunk, and they knew it was a bad choice to make. They probably started going back to college after that, and got married, had kids, and look back on actions like sleeping with me and others as being rock bottom for them. I'm sure there was many a woman suicidal after she woke up and said, "Oh, I fucked that ugly stuttering fuck last night. Oh my God, how drunk was I?" Oh. Anyway, yeah. So getting back to Dave Portnoy, these girls. Okay, these girls, like I guess at both 20 years old, 19, 20 years old, legal. Their age really is irrelevant. Let me explain this. Their age is, everybody who talks about this case puts their age irrelevant, totally irrelevant. He's 43. Okay, fine. They were 20. Fine, irrelevant. Anything over 18, irrelevant. Doesn't really matter. He likes young women. Not illegal. They're consenting adults. They could do whatever the hell they want. They could be involved in a gangbang with whips and chains, and that's totally legal. That's what they want to do. They can make porn. They have made porn. I don't know. So I'm just saying that because these girls, I guess, contacted him. Maybe they think he's good looking. I heard he was good looking. Some woman I was watching talk about this said he was good looking. I don't know. I don't rate man. He seems to be in shape. He's slim. So I guess he comes across as cool. I guess women want. So they see him making those videos. They think he's cool. They get in contact with him, and then he goes back and forth with them. And I think he probably goes back and forth with a lot of girls on chats or whatever. Maybe they talk to him. He gives them their number. I don't know where he meets these girls. I don't know. And I guess that's all the world. I don't know. Like Hollywood stars. It's like and not even Hollywood. Politicians. They was like, "Oh, I met this." Cuomo. How many women has Cuomo met in his life? being in a position he's in? A hell of a lot. So, so I don't know the lifestyle these people lead. So Dave Portnoy obviously meets a lot of women. He met these girls, and these girls are like, yeah. And then he said, hey, you want to come to Nantucket Island? I'll buy you a first-class ticket for you to come here and spend a weekend with me. And they're like, okay, now, women, let me say what men think when you do this. They assume sex is going to happen pretty much the first night. They assume this, and I think they're pretty right in assuming this, because you should assume it too. I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen. Something could happen. You could get there, and you and him could not get along, and then it's like, shit, well, I made a mistake by coming here. Oh, there's a lot of things that can happen while you don't have sex, but the assumption on his mind is, yeah. And if you don't want that to happen, don't take the ticket to go spend the weekend with him. It's as simple as that. Don't say, oh, I'm going to spend a weekend in a nice house on Nantucket Island and, and not give him sex. That would be kind of misleading, not cool. Again, if you do that, you could do that. You don't have to have sex with him. But I'm saying he's probably going to be upset. Now, what he does, that's, if he's upset and he just yells at you a little bit, that's not illegal. I expect him to be upset because he's going to expect sex. At least, I think the minimum. I've had 2 times that's happened to me. One time, a girl invited me over her house in another state. I flew there. It was my own ticket. I bought my own ticket to go there. No. The first time it happened, I invited a girl from a different state to come down to New York to spend a weekend with me. She did. She didn't have sex with me. She had sex with another guy. Yeah. Didn't have sex with me. I was playing a cool. I didn't, make any moves on her. I even slept in the same bed with her. And didn't, because I was trying to be a gentleman. And yeah, I didn't have sex with her. She had sex. And she really, I found out later on, didn't want to have sex with me. She just went to get a good weekend, a fun weekend on Long Island. Because we went to the Hamptons and we went to Fire Island. And the Hamptons when she had sex with somebody else. Anyway, that was the first time it happened. So, yeah, I don't think she should have came to my place if she was not going to have sex with me and didn't want to have sex with me, just was using me to get a nice weekend on the beach, hanging out on Long Island. I think I paid for drinks too. Anyway, I'm an idiot. But again, I would expect Dave Portnoy to do what I did, which is nothing except suck it up and be kind of upset and say, this fucking wasn't cool. Anyway, the second time, I went over a woman's place in another state. I paid for my own ticket. I went there and we had sex, a lot of sex. And that's really what the weekend became, a lot of sex. And I kind of liked the fact that she was cool. She was like, yeah, I invited you here, so we might as well have sex. Even though she said, I really don't like you as a person. I don't think we could date. We don't see eye to eye on many things, but we could still have sex. And I said, hell yeah. So that's what happened there. So I think Dave Portnoy assumed sex. So anyway, they had sex, and he admits they even had sex. He said, no, yeah, because his lawyer told him to just deny even knowing these women. He said, no, I'm not going to deny. I'm going to tell the truth, which I did. I had sex with them, and not once during sex did they say no, did they say stop. And afterwards, they tried to hook up with me again. I think, well, one of the girls, he said she slept on a couch because after that, they didn't get along at all. They didn't see eye to eye. Had nothing to do with sex, and she slept on the couch the rest of the trip. The other girl was trying to hook up with him again afterwards. Now, these girls say he's into rough sex. Okay. He spit in their mouth. Okay. I've had girls spit in my mouth. I've spit, it was consensual. This sounds like it was consensual. I don't need to know. This is another thing, too. why are they explaining? I mean, I guess you're trying to explain. Okay, now did it get rough to the point that you told him to stop and he was choking you and said, "Fuck," and it became rape? I don't believe that one bit. I believe they had sex and they got rough, and maybe they didn't like that they got rough, but they didn't tell him to stop. Things happen in the heat of the moment. I've had girls say shit to me in the heat of the moment. I'm like, what? And then, I end up doing things that I don't, okay, I didn't have to do that. I didn't acknowledge, I didn't initiate that, but they did, and I went along with it. And afterwards, I was, okay, hmm, wasn't, I didn't need that, but okay, fine. You know, what am I gonna do? That's just things that happen in the heat of the moment. If you don't like that kind of thing, you don't sleep with the person again. But I'm not saying while you're having sex, he has the right to do whatever he wants. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying if he starts to get involved in something you might think you're not gonna like it, you think is kinky, or you think is violent, and you think is dangerous, you gotta tell him, hey, whoa, stop right there. And that's it. And if he doesn't, then that's rape. If he does, then that's just communications in the bedroom, which is what you should be having anyway. Um, I don't need to know what kind of sex he likes. I think I think you got involved and you didn't like the way he had sex with you, and okay, or maybe you didn't like the fact that he didn't call you afterwards. And then someone said, "Hey, I'm writing a book. You got some, I'm writing a story about Dave Portnoy. You got some information?" Yeah, as a matter of fact, he likes women when he likes to spit in girls' mouths. Oh my God. And he's 43 and I'm 20. Oh my God. How he likes hot 20-year-olds. My God. You mean he didn't turn the lights out, go, put you under the blankets, then pull his underwear down to his ankles, go under the blankets with you and have sex with you missionary style? You mean he didn't do that? I just, we got to get him. We got to fucking hang him up. The fucking, the gas chamber's waiting, this fucking guy. Seriously, my God, he likes rough sex. He likes to, he doesn't go slow and, oh, I love you. He goes fast and he spits in your mouth. And he's 43. He's more than 20 years older than you. I seriously think Jimmy Page living with a 14-year-old when he's 28, and Steven Tyler living with a 14-year-old when he's about 30, and I think Mick Jagger at 33 having sex with a Ray Dawn Chong when she was 15. I think that's worse, but we're not going to hear about that. That's never going to be that. They don't have to explain themselves. But Dave Portnoy of Barstool Sports has to explain why he's getting women really easily. I can't, again, I can't relate to that kind of world because, you know, there's nobody who wants to come here. I'll buy you a first class ticket. That's okay. It's okay. I'm not. So I think, again, this is reeks of girls who want their 15 minutes of fame and want some payola. Charges. Here's what I always get with these situations. Does anybody go to authorities and get the authorities involved? Dave Hunter said no authorities have been to my door about this. These women call the National Enquirer or whatever they call to get money for their story, but they don't tell the authorities like they probably should. If I do something here with a woman, I expect her to leave here and go to the authorities. I expect her to call the authorities when she gets the hell out of here and call the authorities and say, this motherfucker raped me. That's what I expect to happen because I would expect no less. I'm not raping any women, but I'm saying if me or someone, I would hope they would do that. Not leave, and a few months later, some woman wants to write a story about Dave Portnoy, and you go, oh yeah, man, he likes girls, he likes to spit in girls' mouths and choke them during sex. Not my kind of thing, choking a girl during sex. Even spitting a girl's mouth, I've done that, but that's not really my kink, I guess. Uh, but we're not here to talk about my kinks or my lack of, you know, a lack of even knowing what my kinks are anymore. It's been so damn. I don't even know if I have any. Anyway, Port, Portnoy obviously does, and he's got plenty of women to explore these kinks with him. But he's got plenty of women also ready to open their mouth and tell everybody else how kind of kinks he likes. No, there's not going to be no charges filed against Dave Portnoy. The authorities are not going to. They're trying to cancel Dave Portnoy, and it's probably trying to get moolah from Dave Portnoy, which is what this is probably all about. Yeah, I mean, if you don't file charges, this is how I always look at these things. If you're trying to get money and you don't file charges against the person, I don't respect you at all. I think the bottom line here is filing charges to make sure this doesn't happen to somebody else, not for you to get rich. And if you're trying to get rich, it makes me not trust your story. Like Lana Wood, and saying, "Oh, it was Kurt Douglas." Conveniently died last year or the year before, whatever, and just I don't know. I just and is rough sex. Do we need to know that? Do we need to? I mean, like Hollywood people having like people like I don't understand. Like, do we need to go into people's bedrooms and get into their their most sacred, like if they got a S&M bondage room, and I don't. I'm sure some do, and if they find somebody to do that willingly with them, I don't need to know about that. That's again, it's about time. If you're telling me a 20-year-old girl is not responsible for her actions, then fucking make the legal age 21, 22. Because whenever the age of consent is after that, I don't want to hear someone call them a child. They're not. And if they can make a mistake and say, then don't leave the fucking house. Don't leave the house, because obviously things are going to happen out there that you ain't ready for and that you can't control. And definitely don't take a first class plane ticket to Nantucket Island. I know, that sounds ridiculous. Why would I not take a first class plane ticket to Nantucket Island? Because you're gonna probably be expected to sleep with Dave Portnoy. And he might not call you the next day. And that's all I gotta say about that. Anyway, that's JP Alexander for the Rabid Dogs Unleashed. Please don't hate me. Don't cancel me. Just sitting here in my fucking house talking to a screen. Please. Anyway, that's all I gotta say about that. Until the next time, ciao.